voice is traveling to you well, to take a deep breath with me at this time. If this video is finding you, then you may be going through the dark night of the soul, of which there are many, but you may be going through one of them. Maybe it's your first one, maybe you've been on a couple of them. And essentially what happens is that you are sort of disillusioned in a way, because everything that you once were, everything that once served you, every thought form, every habit, the person or the character you were playing, the part you were playing, is just no longer serving you. And it's like frighteningly obvious at this point that you cannot go on like this. I mean, you may even have a voice ringing in your head that's like, I can't go on like this anymore, I can't do this anymore. And like, that's not to be alarmed, it's not like something scary, even though it may feel that way. It's just you outgrowing the old. It's you outgrowing what no longer serves you. It's you outgrowing an entire past version of yourself. And I feel like I've made a very similar video about this, like maybe a couple of weeks ago. But see, that's the thing. It's kind of like it comes and goes. It's like a purging, okay? It's like this massive purging, right? And it's sort of like, I don't want to compare it to, yeah, it kind of is like grief if you come to think about it. It's kind of like the way when you're grieving, there's like bouts of it, right? There's like episodes where you're grieving and you feel a little reprieve, you feel a little bit better, and then there's like round 2, round 3, and it's kind of like that. You're being asked, no, you're not. I'm just trying to add that one myself. Okay, Spirit, what messages do I have for the collective that is going through this dark night of the soul? So a lot is unraveling, a lot's coming up to the surface. You could be feeling really raw, fragile, vulnerable at this time. And like, definitely feel your emotions, feel whatever is coming up to the surface, because it's coming up for a reason. It's not coming up so you can push it back down. No, we've done that long enough. It's coming up so that you can hold space for it and view it head on, and which can be a lot. It can be incredibly disarming, because a lot of those were safety nets and comfort zones that we like, cocoons that we like crawled into and like were coddling us, so to speak. And you know, to have your safety net or like a little blanket that you had ripped away from you can be a lot. It can be disarming, okay? Just saying it like it is. And I mean, it's called a tunnel moment for a reason, right? And don't try, like, okay, so even if you do try, I feel like at this point, maybe you had certain addictions, or maybe you had certain ways that you would escape, right? And you would use escapism tactics to sort of run and hide essentially from the darker aspects, like the real scary demons that you had just like locked away, or the things that you just didn't want to deal with, or the things you were repressing, right? And they may be coming up to the surface now to be examined, because it is time. And if that's the case, like I said, it's disarming. But don't try to run. And I feel like even if you do at this point, it's no longer working. It's one of those ones where it's like you're being stripped away from, which is why I mentioned being like feeling raw and vulnerable, because you're being stripped away from all tactics or methods you had in place to sort of try to escape and avoid. And that's no longer working. So now you're face to face with everything. And even if you're still trying to escape, it's no longer serving you. It's actually having the opposite effect, and it's making the entire process even more tumultuous. And it's like you can't escape it. And when I say that, I feel like in a sense of, if you're trying to escape it in your waking life, it's showing up in your dreams. If you're trying to avoid certain situations, certain confrontations, certain people, whatever, they're coming up in your dreams. It's like you're not able to escape anymore, is what I'm trying to say. That's just taken out, you know, that's just like, I don't know, ripped away. It's no longer an option. So that can be a lot, for sure. And just remember to address whatever the root cause is, whatever the emotions are that are coming up, because the only way is through at this point. Because if you're being held, like, it kind of feels like you're just like, and being made to look in the mirror and being made to face everything that you've been trying to run from. Because you can run from all of them. You can run from everyone and everything. But how are you going to run from yourself? How long and how far can you run from yourself? And see, with any significant, I should say, soul connection, it's going to bring up a lot to the surface, because it's going to sort of hold a mirror up to you and the darker aspects of you and even the beautiful ones. But right now, this is a darker reading, I guess. Let's call it that. And that's what we're focusing on today. So they're going to hold up a mirror to all of that, and you can run, but that's not going to serve you. And maybe you've been running. Maybe you've been a runner your whole life. Maybe you've been running for a long, long time from everything, everyone, situation. 7-Eleven again, that must be like a number for this collective, because that's been coming up a lot. But at this point, you're really being asked and called to face what it is that you've been running from all this time, maybe your whole life even, right? Maybe you were unaware, but you were running your whole life from these things, okay? Because like I said, it was a lot. I know this is getting a little, but whatever. No judgment, right? No judgment. Like I was saying, in these kind of intense connections, the entire point, like, as in, it's not even about the connections. What I'm trying to say is, like, you can't run from yourself. You can't run from what the universe, what your soul's blueprint has in store for you at this time, what it's trying to teach you, what you're being asked and called to rise up to the surface and face, right? Because you can run, but you can't hide, right? You can only run for so long until you're exhausted and depleted, and you're just like, why am I doing this? And then you're gonna get tired of the loneliness, and that's like a whole other shit show in and of itself. So yeah, you just gotta face certain truths. And truth is a beautiful thing that sets us free, but it can also be incredibly debilitating and bitter. That coffee, black sometimes, but yeah. I love how I'm always trying to crack jokes, even when I'm like, honor the emotions, and because you're feeling so raw and vulnerable and it's a fragile process, don't try to rush it. Take your time with it. Look, no one that's significant is going anywhere, okay? No one that's showing up in your dreams and you know that they're still rooting for you, they're not going anywhere. You're not alone, you're not abandoned, you're okay. But I genuinely don't know what I'm trying to say here, because I had a bunch of messages that I did want to come on and say. Also, you may be outgrowing, you may be like disillusioned in the sense that, like, I don't know if that's the right word for this. What I'm trying to say is, like, maybe there were certain things that weren't serving you for a really long time, and you were just kind of like, and it was dragging along just because you were like, oh, it's better than like being entirely alone, or it's better than like however that resonates and fits in your situation. And at this point, it's just like, you can't stand to do anything that doesn't resonate with your soul. That's why I said it's so raw. I feel like I said that 500 times in this video, but it's true. It's like, you can't, like, you just can't. No more BS. You can't put up with any more BS. You can't put up with anything half-assed. You can't put up with anything that's like fake and isn't real or raw and truthful and authentic and serving a higher purpose. You know, you may be at a point where you can't deal with half-assed energies or connections anymore, or people that are not on the journey. Like, I hate to say it like this, but it's like, you can't chill with NPCs anymore because you're no longer one. You've been awakened, or you're awakening, and that veil has been ripped away. And 11:11, as I say this, is confirmation, baby. Like, I can't make this stuff up. No one can. It is what it is. And it's a beautiful thing, okay? But like, there's two sides to everything, okay? There's always like there's a multitude of words, but you get it. So I lost my trail of thought. I always say trail of thought, but I think it's train of thought, but both make sense to me. So there's that. It's just like, shallow BS is no longer doing it for you. And maybe you've always been like that at a core, like, authentic soul level, but maybe you still had like more capacity to put up with a lot of stuff just for the sake of, like, just for the hell of it, you know, just because that's society or that's life, right? And at this point, you're just like, you can't take it anymore. You know what you want, you know what you need, you know what this journey requires of you to do, and you're willing and ready to make those sacrifices. You're willing and ready to cut off anything that just isn't really serving a purpose. And you're like, why is this here? Because listen, every single thing takes up time and energy. And if you're a light worker or a healer, then not only is it taking up precious time and energy, are the two most precious commodities that we have, and how we spend them is incredibly important. So not only is it taking up that time and that energy, but I've already mentioned like siphoners and energy vampires, but that aside, even if we're not looking at that right now, what's karma? Karma is a person's karmic retribution, and karma is a person's luck, their thought forms, their energy. It's all in their energetic field. They're carrying it around. And how does karma happen? It happens as a result of our actions, our choices, everything that we're actively choosing to do or not to do. If you're an incredibly mindful individual, you're discerning, you're listening to your guidance, you're doing the work, you're cutting out what doesn't serve you, you're living, maybe you're celibate, and you're living down, like you're walking down this path, okay? And this path requires a lot of sacrifice. Let's give ourselves some credit here, okay? Like, credit where it's due. It requires devotion. It requires commitment to the journey, to yourself, to your higher self, okay? And if you're doing all of that, and you're surrounding yourself with people that are not doing that, and you happen to be very sensitive or empathic, or you just happen to be a healer, okay? You are going to end up taking on their karma. And not only are you going to take on their karma, you're going to have to relive and refight those demons and redo those lessons that you've already done and integrated. Ain't that something? Ain't that something you don't want to be doing? Because you didn't come this far just to come this far. You didn't do all this work just to keep carrying other people and going in that same loop, cycle, and circle. You did it so you can ascend. The whole point is to ascend. The whole point is to attract that love of your life, that dream job, career, or wherever you envision yourself living, or that community, or whatever it is, your soul tribe. Like, it's to be truly seen, heard, valued, loved, whatever it is for you, right? Whatever, however that pertains to and resonates with you, but it's not to keep going in those same loops and cycles. And I think maybe the integration and the knowledge, like the knowing of that, is what's keeping you, which is an incredible thing. It's great that it's keeping you from all that's not that. And you're holding out, you're waiting. You're in this waiting period, and you will be tested. because you're in this waiting period where you're being prepared, right? And all the skunk removals taking place, right? And at the same time, everything on a cosmic level is connected. Okay, by the way, I'm not high, this is just something I'm wearing. Everything, I just thought I'd mention that since I'm like here. Stop over explaining yourself. But yeah, since everything is connected quantumly, energies, everything's energy, so people can sense that. People can sense it. And not only that, there are beautiful light forces, angels, angelic energies. What am I even saying right now? But like, that are protecting us, guiding us. There is that light that's out there, but there are also darker forces at play. There are darker energies that want to keep you stuck, keep you stagnant, that want to, like, you know, keep you in that loop, keep you distracted, keep you in those illusions. So it's incredibly important to like be discerning, and maybe you need to go into hermit mode. Maybe you're being called to go into hermit mode and really examine a lot and reflect, and not just reflect and examine, that's all intellectually and logically, but to open yourself up. That's been coming up a lot in readings I haven't posted, to just like open up your heart space and receive that love, that guidance, open up your chakras, right, and align and receive that information, those downloads, that knowledge that will guide you. It's always there to guide you. They're always just looking, your spirit team is always looking to rendezvous with you and partner up with you and have this beautiful synergy and teamwork with you, okay? So, oh yeah, I was trying to say that the devil will, I don't want to say like that, it makes me sound like a preacher, like the devil will touch you, but they will though, it's true. Like, that kind of energy, like the darker forces, call it whatever, that's not really the point here. The point is that you will be tested. Okay, so if there's a lot of like temptations coming up, maybe you used to entertain them before, you're being asked right now to really go within and be discerning. And I'm just realizing it's probably hard to take me seriously with this on my shirt, but no judgment, God, but like, get the point. But you don't want to be like, you don't want to be giving into that. Of course, everybody has free will at the end of the day, and every choice we make leads down, it like has its own repercussions, consequences, or blessings, right? It all depends on what we choose, and that's why it's incredibly important to be mindful at this time and always, I guess. But when you ask for something, notice this pattern in life. How when you're trying to ascend or elevate, or when you're asking for something, anything, that could be anything, it could be anything so small, it could be a lot bigger. Notice how you get tempted and distracted and it's sent your way. That's to test you to see if you're truly ready for what it is you're asking for, and if you're truly deserving of sustaining what it is that's coming your way. And if you start to like fumble even before your blessing arrives, it ain't gonna arrive. It's just what it is. It's just facts, right? I'm just saying it like it is. So yeah, these are just some things to be mindful of. I guess this is what I wanted to say when I woke up. And honestly, pay attention to your dreams, because what you can't understand in your conscious waking reality, maybe your mind's not ready or able or willing to accept those things at the moment, or maybe there's just too much noise and chaos around you and you're not able to hear it. It'll come to you in your dream state. It'll come to you when you're asleep, because a lot may be being revealed to you at this time, so you're being asked to pay attention.